The words come from the prophet Rumi, and they were put together by a friend of mine, Dan Reer, out in Portland, Oregon, who's quite a musician. He's passed on to the other side at this point, but I still, love his music. And it comes from the poet Rumi. How many have read Rumi, know about Rumi? A few of you are familiar with him. He was a 13th century Sufi mystic. Sufi is part of Islam. If you've ever seen whirling dervishes, those are part of the Sufi tradition, if you will. And has been quite inspired by his writings, and it's included in my weekly prayer letter that I put out. Some of you are on that mailing list at peaceunity.net, you can sign up to get the weekly. And I include quotes from Rumi in there, as well as James Freeman and Charles and Myrtle Fillmore and who else? Right now I'm doing, can't figure it offhand, but this actually comes, it's interesting how this all is formed here, but there's paragraphs, separate writings, and that line, out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field, I'll meet you there, and we will let the beauty that we love be what we are, actually is in two different paragraphs. It's kind of interesting how that works. But the first one is out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing. This is a different interpretation, obviously. There is a field, I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, and even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. Right? So out in that field, beyond right and wrong. This morning talked a little bit about the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And that's a metaphor for our, what we have gotten into in our consciousness, if you will, believing that there are things that are right and things that are wrong, that two-dimensional consciousness, right? Black and white, good and bad. And when we start beginning to realize the truth, we get into a three-dimensional consciousness, and we start seeing that it's not just good and bad, right and wrong, but there is a continuum between the two, and that nothing's absolutely right and nothing's absolutely wrong. And we get into fourth-dimensional consciousness, we start seeing the circle, and it's just one. Anyway, going off into another topic there, but about developing consciousness, which is what I'll talk about, I guess, 2 weeks from today when I come back. That field, right? It says, when we lie down in that grass, when we lie down in that field that is beyond right and wrong, when we get down and we actually experience that, right? When you lay down in the grass, you start feeling. So we experience that field. We experience that energy, if you will, or that state of consciousness, or that heaven state of mind, if you will. Another way of putting it. When we get beyond ideas of right and wrong, when we get past that dichotomy, we get past that black and white, when we get past that limitation of two-dimensional consciousness, and we start seeing that all things work together for good. That's a message of the Apostle Paul. That all things, even that which we don't like, works towards our own good. Things that happen that I'd rather not participate in. Well, we have to go through what we have to go through to get to where we're going, right? And that's basically what he's talking about. The world is too full to talk about ideas, language, and even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. In unity, what's the basic principle? First principle. There's only one presence and one power, God the good. Right? Yeah. There's only one presence and one power, God the good. There is no me and you. There is only we. There's only us. That we're all expressions of that one presence and that one power, and it's only good. There are things we don't like, things we'd rather not participate in, things we'd rather not see happening, right? And there's good that comes from all these. And that's our opportunity, is to lie down in that field of grass, to experience that energy field, if you will, that transcends space and time, that sees the ultimate reality of God the good in all that we experience. And the rest of that phrase comes from this paragraph. It says, like today, like every other day, we wake up empty and frightened. Don't open the door to the study and begin reading. Take down a musical instrument. Let the beauty we love be what we do. There are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground. How do we start our day? Do we get up and get busy with everything? Too often, I think that's how I show up. I forget. Right? I like one of my best days are when I get up and I remember to stop and remember God, to experience, to get into, I do my yoga and I do my meditation and my affirmations, and then I'm ready to go. Now, if I forget to do that, which is not uncommon, because I've been in busy lives, and I try to be honest. I don't always remember, but then somewhere along the line I'll say, okay, I didn't stop to pray today. I didn't stop to take some time in the silence. And then I can do that anytime. It's never too late to start over, right? It's never too late to begin the day anew. So I can do that at any time. Take down a musical instrument. Talks about doing creative experience, and let the beauty we love, the beauty that we love. So maybe your form of meditation is painting, or maybe your form of meditation is sitting down at the piano, or maybe your form of meditation is something else that's a creative expression for you. Taking a walk in the woods, getting close to nature, because it's easier for me anyway, I know, to experience God, to experience that divine presence in nature. Because everything around us has been manufactured and changed and shaped and formed by mechanical processes and everything, unless I go out in the woods, and then it's shaped and formed by nature. An act of God, if you will, right? Let the beauty that we love be what we do. The other version, be what we are. So it's kind of getting that doing and being, right? There's that dichotomy between Plato and Aristotle. You're familiar with the beginnings of philosophy, right? Where Plato would say that what we do comes out of what we are. That doing comes out of being. And then Aristotle would say that being comes out of doing. So being and doing are, back and forth. And it took Frank Sinatra to bring it all together when he said, doo-be-doo-be-doo, doo-be-doo-be. Anyway, so that's an old joke. Just presented itself to me on that one. That's the beauty that we love, be what we do. Coming back to Charles here, this chapter on the Church of Christ and the true Church of Christ. And he said, there's a lot of great stuff. I'd love to just sit here and read this book to you guys because it's so good. Many have caught sight of the fact that the true Church of Christ is a state of consciousness in man. But few have gone so far in the realization as to know that in the very body of each man and woman is a temple in which the Christ holds religious services at all times. And he quotes Jesus when said, "You are the temple of God." That's one of those that should be taken literally, right? Most things, it's kind of funny because a lot of our fundamentalist brothers take they want to take it literally. All the stuff that should be interpreted metaphysically, they take literally, but then those things that should be taken literally, they don't know. You are the temple of God, that God is within each one of us. God is expressing through us, and that we experience God within ourselves, within a consciousness of God. That fourth or fifth dimensional consciousness that transcends time and space. I say fourth or fifth because whether you decide that time is the fourth dimension, then it's the fifth. But Charles just talked about the fourth dimension of consciousness, and he's talking about the same thing. That consciousness that transcends space and time, that experiences all that there is here and now within our hearts and minds. And the only time we can experience that, the only way to contact that is through prayer and meditation, through tuning in to that presence and that power and tuning out. Because all of this is illusion. All of this has been made, has been shaped and formed in the past. And what we are today is a result of those thoughts and those feelings and those actions of yesterday. And what we will be tomorrow, what we will experience tomorrow, is shaped by what we think and say and do today. So right here, right now, is the only thing I have to work with. And being in this now place, I open my mind and my heart to that Spirit of God, to be infilled, to be revealed to me in this now moment. A revealing of God. To be in the world, but not of it. You ever heard that? Look at John 17. I think it's 14 through 16, where he talks about being in the world, but not of it. And he talks in Matthew about his kingdom is not of this world. And then again in John, he talks about how he has overcome the world. The world is a state of consciousness. It's out there. It's that projection that we put upon it. Because none of us really know what's, two people looking at the same event, the same person, the same activity will give you two different feedback about what that is, right? You get two people who watch the same thing, watch the same event, have them write down what they saw, it will not match. Maybe a few details will. But their experience of it is going to be different. Be in the world, but not of it. Because God the good is all there is. God the good is all there is. One presence, one power. And this brings us to our affirmation. So Betsy, there's affirmation cards down there. If you could help me pass those out to people, that'd be, thank you very much. God the good is all there is. That's a good way to think about things, to understand the truth. In the beginning, God. One presence, one power, one infinite spirit of light and of love. That is God. That God the good is all there is. And that I am one with God. That we are all expressions of God. That we all experience God through each other. I am one with God, one with my good. This is our affirmation for today. God the good is all there is. I am one with God, one with my good. So let's affirm that together. God the good is all there is. I am one with God, one with my good. And a second time, like you mean it together. God the good is all there is. I am one with God, one with my good. And a third time, soft and with deep meaning. God the good is all there is. I am one with God, one with my good. And so it is, and so it shall be. Yea, God, and amen. Now, talk about